Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be playing National Park Superlative. I am a super big US National Parks nerd. I've been to like 35 of them and I love talking about them, discussing them, debating the pros and cons of all of them, and today that's how we're going to play this game. So the rules are simple. I have a mug, actually an Appalachian Trail Cafe mug full of different superlatives, and I am just going to randomly pull out 5. I don't have answers planned for any of them, and we together are going to decide what the superlatives are. To give some context really quick though, which national parks I've been to, so which ones will be included in the superlatives. I have been to the Smokies, Shenandoah, the Everglades, Grand Canyon, Zion, Death Valley, Arches, Bryce, Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, Yosemite, Sequoia, Kings Canyon, Joshua Tree, Rocky Mountain, the Tetons, Yellowstone, Badlands, Theodore Roosevelt, Mammoth Cave, Gateway Arch, Wind Cave, Glacier, Big Bend, Guadalupe Mountains, Carlsbad Caverns, White Sands, Cuyahoga Valley, Black Canyon of the Gunnison, Mesa Verde, Great Sand Dunes, Acadia, Congaree, Hot Springs, and New River Gorge. And as always, don't get offended. These are my opinions. If you had a great experience at a park and maybe I didn't, that's okay. It's all relative. Just use this for your future trip planning and let's have some fun. Okay, first one. Let's see. Best food. Okay, kind of an out of the pocket pick for best food, but I'm gonna go with Glacier National Park for one pretty simple reason: huckleberries. If you are in Glacier during huckleberry season, you have just won the lottery. The huckleberries are a little like blueberries, but they taste pretty different, and they are found all over the park. The bears love them, the deer love them, the humans love them, and Glacier's really good, and the surrounding businesses are really good about incorporating huckleberries into pretty much everything. So when I was in Glacier, my dad and I would get a jar of huckleberry jam, and then we would go back to the campfire and we would make huckleberry toast, and that would be our dessert each night. And that was absolutely phenomenal. Super good. If you eat meat, I don't because I'm a vegetarian, but if you do eat meat, there's tons of different like cool burger options in the restaurants around Glacier. We stayed near the West Glacier area, and there were tons and tons of yummy restaurants. I remember there was this really good burrito food truck that was like right by the entrance to West Glacier, so that is absolutely phenomenal too. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Glacier for best food. Okay, next one. Let's see. All-time favorite. Okay, so I have a couple all-time favorites, which I know like that defeats the purpose of an all-time favorite, but this is my video. So my all-time favorite national park is Glacier. So Glacier's getting a lot of love in this video for a bunch of different reasons. Glacier, I think, just has wonderful hiking. The scenery is spectacular. It's a massive park. We spent 10 days there. 10 days at Glacier, and we did so much, and there was more to do. Like, we didn't even do everything. Some of my favorite hikes are in Glacier, like the Grinnell Glacier, the Highline Trail, Hidden Lake, Avalanche Lake, all those amazing trails. I also love Glacier just because it's a beautiful place to lounge. There were a couple of days on our like 10-day trek there that we just like hung out by a lake and read our books, and that was spectacular. I do have some other all-time favorites though. So my personal, like, closest to my heart national park is Shenandoah, because that's the region that I'm from. I'm from pretty rural Virginia. I grew up like 10 minutes from the south entrance. Shenandoah, I think, is a wonderful park to live near because it's kind of a long and skinny. It's honestly a tough park to see everything that you want to see in like a day or two if you're visiting, but it's wonderful to live near because there's just a bunch of hiking and cool trail options. So my all-time favorites would probably be Glacier or Shenandoah. Glacier because of the epicness, and Shenandoah just because of the personal reasons and how close it is to my heart. Number 3. Let's see. We have coolest animals. I don't know. Ooh. Let me think. Okay. I'm kind of embarrassed it took me this long to think about this one, but for coolest animals, I do indeed absolutely have to say Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone is, I've heard, the Serengeti of North America, and it really, really fits. There are animals crawling in that place. Bison are absolutely amazing. This is a whole side story, but bison are the reason why I became vegetarian. So seeing the bison just at full capacity in Yellowstone is absolutely amazing. The bears are also super cool. There's a bunch of different kinds. There are wolves, there are deer, there are just animals running around all the time. There are moose, there are like otters and different types of birds. So yeah, I would definitely say Yellowstone. I think there's very few parks where the animals live in such harmony with the humans there, and when you're in Yellowstone, you really do have to have your eye out for animals. But one honorable mention that I will also say for coolest animals is Congaree. So Congaree is in South Carolina. It's like an hour outside of Columbia, and how you experience the park really depends on what time of year you go. When we went, it was the dry season, so we were actually able to go out and do trails, and we saw 3 different types of poisonous snakes, and we also saw a wild boar. And we went on like a 3-mile trail walk. So Congaree low-key has some really, really cool animals that are completely different than the type that you would see in a place like Yellowstone. Okay, number 4. Worst crowds. Okay, I do have an answer for this one. Might be a little controversial, but personally, the worst crowds that we have experienced at a national park is hands down, without a doubt, Yosemite. And we have not shied away from avoiding crowds. In general, I think I handle crowds really well. It doesn't really bother me if there are tons of crowds, because it means that like people are out and about on the trails and people are enjoying the national parks, and I think that's really special. And in general, crowds have never hampered my ability to do a trail. So for example, we were in Yellowstone on like the 4th of July or something, and the crowds were completely fine because the crowds were all congregated around the big spots like Old Faithful or the Lamar Valley, and if you went on a trail, there were no crowds. So that has been our experience in national parks. Like the second you get off the beaten path a little bit, there are way less crowds and you can still enjoy a crowded park on a busy day. Yosemite is the exception, because I think everyone that goes to Yosemite knows that they're going to be wanting to do some serious hiking, and the trails were just packed. It was every couple feet, there were a ton of people. It didn't necessarily detract from the experience. Yosemite is absolutely amazing and beautiful, but it was difficult to navigate sometimes. Also, the shuttle service in Yosemite, this is no hate to it. I think shuttle systems in national parks are amazing because they eliminate cars and they actually get everyone to the place that they want to go to quicker. But the shuttles that we went on in Yosemite were jam-packed. It felt like we were in a city. There was no sitting room. We were standing, and it was like a 30-minute shuttle ride. We were standing like bunched against these people, and that was not mega fun. And just knowing that, and especially with Yosemite, because we went in May, it wasn't even peak season yet, I would be really hesitant about planning a trip to Yosemite during the summer. This was also 5 years ago. I went to Yosemite in 2019. So if things have changed since COVID, or if they've adopted different systems, not necessarily reservations. I know that there's things going on with the Yosemite reservations, but if they've actually adopted different shuttle systems in the park, I would be super curious to hear about it, because yeah, we went in the off season and it was still incredibly packed, very difficult to maneuver, the closest that crowds have come to detracting from my experience. But all that to say, I do really, really love Yosemite. It's absolutely stunning. Like, we had a phenomenal time there. The crowds, we just weren't prepared for. Okay, and we've reached the end. I will do one more superlative and then we'll call this a day. This is so fun though. I love talking about national parks. It's November when I'm filming this right now, so I don't necessarily get to go on a ton of national park trips right now. I have a full-time job, so it's so fun to be able to talk about them and keep that part of my life and that passion going a little bit, even during the off season. Okay, so let's see what the final one is. Hopefully we'll end on a good one. Worst bugs. Okay, so we're ending on a negative one. I do have an answer for worst bugs. It is quite something. When we were in Great Sand Dunes National Park this past summer, so summer 2024, there were the worst mosquitoes that we've ever seen in our lives. I don't know if I just have like the mosquito blood attracting gene. It might be that, but the bugs, the mosquitoes specifically, were quite literally the worst that I have ever seen, which is such a shame because Great Sand Dunes is absolutely phenomenal. We went at like the worst time of year to go though. Like, we went in the heart of summer. We had read online that the mosquitoes were really bad at the campsite. We brought bug spray. We had long sleeves. We were prepared. The first night we were there, we walked out because the way that the national park is set up is like the campground is right next to the dunes. So you can easily walk from the campground to the dunes. It's like a half-mile walk. It's very, very short. We were walking from the campground to the dunes, and the bugs had been bothering us. Like, they had definitely been around, but it hadn't been enough, like, to stop us from going outside. Like, it had just been enough to make us be like, oh, we should put on bug spray. So anyways, we're doing this, like, half-mile walk, and it's sunset, so it's beautiful outside, but it is sunset. And the bugs are bothering us. We get out onto the dunes. The dunes are super cool. We like take pictures and walk around, and it's sunset and it's pretty and all that stuff. Sunsets, we leave. We are like heading back on that little trail back to the campground, and they just swarm us. Like, the mosquitoes had been like toying with us up until that point, and they just attacked. It had to have been at least like hundreds. They were swarming us. I looked at my dad, and there was just this like cloud of mosquitoes around him, and I was wearing shorts, and I looked down once at my leg and just saw like a swarm of mosquitoes. So naturally, we start running and screaming. We run by a couple groups of people, and the mosquitoes are not attacking them. It's just us. We sprint to our car, lock ourselves in our car, sit in our car for 30 minutes, assess the damage. I had hundreds of bug bites. Absolutely demolished. I have no idea why they attacked me and my dad so much more than everyone else. But it was genuinely like so insane how many bugs that there were. And they didn't necessarily attack on the sand dunes, but they did really, really get to you at the campground. So if you are traveling to Great Sand Dunes, it is absolutely amazing, stunning. Don't go the time that we went, or don't camp or manage the mosquitoes a little bit better than we did, because that was an insane experience. And that's it. Those are some of my national park superlatives. I actually had so much fun doing that. Like I said, I love talking about the national parks. So stick around. There will definitely be a part 2 at some point. And if you agree with my superlatives, please comment and tell me. And if you disagree with my superlatives, please comment and tell me. I would love to have more of a discussion about all of these parks in the chat. Otherwise, I hope wherever you are killing the game and having so much fun. And hopefully planning summer national park adventures. Bye!